So I wanted to announce the online session 5 of this conference with the subject, the role of artistic expression and artistic results in the promotion of the country's culture. And it's my pleasure to be the moderator of this session. My name is Marko Gošović, and I am assistant professor at Faculty of Visual Arts in the field of creative industries. Today we have 3 presentations in this online session. The first presentation is visualization of the politics of tolerance, women's non-verbal message in the Edificio de Mujeres, a women's building mural in San Francisco, that will be presented by Professor Tatjana Srceva Pavlovska, Associate Professor of English at American University of Europe, Skopje, Macedonia. The second presentation will be theoretical and practical aspect of the role of art experiences in promoting country cultures by Professor Radmila Janičić, Ph.D. in University of Belgrade, Faculty of Organizational Sciences, Serbia. And third presentation will be held by Milena Dragutinović with the subject ReFLAME, Your English for Visual Arts textbook presentation. Firstly, I want to invite Professor Tatjana Srceva Pavlovska to present the first subject of, I will say again, visualization of politics and tolerance, women's nonverbal message in the Edificio de Mujeres, women's building mural in San Francisco. So, Tatjana, please, I invite you to present us. Okay, sorry. I forgot to read the biography of Professor Tatjana Srceva Pavlovska. She is an associate professor in English at the American University of Europe, the University in Skopje, North Macedonia. She teaches several undergraduate courses, including American and British literature and civilization, intercultural communication, as well as a graduate course in feminist theory and criticism. Her main research interest is within the field of literary criticism, abortion rights, and gender studies, as well as the presentation of female madness in literature. And she has published several books and many research papers on these topics. Professor Srceva Pavlovska is an alumna of the USA Department of State SUSI program at the Institute of Contemporary American Literature. She has been an expert consultant and a curricula developer for primary and secondary education for the Bureau of Educational Development. And she is a part of the editorial board of Macedonian American Alumni Association newsletter and is an experienced literary translator. So now I invite you, Tanja, to start your presentation.
Hvala vam. Dobar dan, Podgorica. Da li se dobro čujemo?
Da.
Da li isto, could you please confirm if you have a visual of my presentation?
Yes, we see the video.
Okay. So actually, because of the time frame, I'm going to skip my general introduction. But if you want, I can upload later, maybe, the presentation in the chat so that you can have the whole idea. So I'm just going to...
Okay.
Is it okay? Can I continue?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I'll go straight to introducing the mural, which is basically the general idea of my today's expose. So I'm going to talk about this highly acclaimed masterpiece mural, which was painted by 7 all-women muralists. Here they are. I am not going to name them individually, but they are very much cherished by the locals in the surrounding community. The Edificio de Mujeres building is situated actually in Mission District in San Francisco. I will try with the video. Yeah, I think that, yeah, can you see the video? Yeah, we can go without the tone, because I want to just give a brief introduction. So it's basically in the heart of San Francisco, and it's 5 stories tall. It has a vibrantly illuminated walls, and it's really a striking jewel. So basically the grand masterpiece mural, that's the name of the mural, and it means women teaching of peace. It's a woman's building that features actually feminine icons from history and fiction. And it has the names of more than 600 women that are written in calligraphy. And according to the San Francisco Women's Center itself, and I'm going to quote, this spectacular mural is a culmination of the multicultural, multi-generation collaboration of 7 women artists and a colorful work of art that sings to our community, end of quote. So the building currently houses 9 community health organizations and its nonprofit hub, including Girls Running Club, a group helping women escape from domestic violence. There are washrooms for even individuals experiencing homelessness. There are immigration services, and there's also support for survivors of sexual assault. The mural itself that you can see now in the video was created in several stages, starting somewhere in 1993-94. And these 2 exterior facades were actually completed then. But then in 2000, there was a graffiti repair which followed, and a restoration, and there was some additions which were made in the facade of the 18th Street. And there was another addition, and the interior lobby and the stairwell in 2010. Finally, the entire mural was completely restored in 2012. The predominant color, as you can see, are red and white, which is perhaps not so much of a dualism as more of a striking contrast. So we have Van Wyk, the artist who in 1998, reporting on mural decoration among the Basotho people of Southern Africa, states that the women claim they use their murals to call the ancestors, appealing to them for their blessings, particularly rain. The author further explains... sorry?
No, continue,
okay.
Please.
Sorry. The point is here about the colors. Red symbolizes sacrificial blood, also signifies a woman capable of procreating. And according to Van Wyk, white symbolizes serenity, spiritual purity, and enlightenment, which are basically prerequisites for communicating with the ancestors. And there's black also, which can be found, I think, in the contouring of the masterpiece mural, as you can see, could represent the ancestors and the dark rain-bearing clouds. There's some problem with the video. Okay, I'll switch to the next slide. I think we've seen most of the building. So I can go on with the rest. I just want to say that even though wall decorations in most African societies is intended for aesthetic and religious purposes, I personally assert that the case with this elaborate design behind the women's building in San Francisco is more political and collective rather than local and pious or ceremonial. So I just want to discuss the messages of tolerance and liberation it conveys through this visualization of the particular and most important segments. So I'll begin with this 18th Street view highlights. As you can see, the building, and later on with the painted mural on it. So actually, this particular segment drawn to the top tower is called Pregnant Butterfly. It's a nude, as you can see, child pregnant goddess. She has butterfly wings holding up the sun. And there are fountains, as you can see, of amniotic fluid and fish descending from the image of her entrance, from her womb. And the inside of her womb is transparent. And at the level of cosmic symbolism, the mother is represented by the stagnated water from which all vegetable and animal forms come out. And from this point of view, the maternal principle is associated with life, death, and rebirth. And there's this womb of the Great Mother, who also symbolized by the wells. And having this in mind, we need to mention Gaston Bachelard, who believes that water, in his essay Water and Dreams, he believes that water is endlessly generative image, as here presented, as well as a way of gathering language around an image and reimagining the world. But also, I want to stress that in light of today's pro-life and pro-choice struggle, this segment sends very clear political message that female body and female uterus are exclusively private part, and especially concerning women and women alone. So the segment is also very much political, not only symbolic. On the further left and right on the 18th facade, there are two other indigenous images. As you can see, two profiles of an African person and Native American profile, which are basically not so very exclusively masculine, but I would say more androgynous. Right, so my main focus is on today in greater detail on Lapidge Street facade to point out the variety of persons who were given tribute here and also the messages it convey. At the very top of the building is Rigoberta Menchú, the passionate spokesperson for the rights of indigenous peoples, and she won in 1992 Nobel Peace Prize for her social justice work on behalf of indigenous people of Guatemala. And in this way, she became literally a leading advocate of Indian rights and ethno-cultural reconciliation. Menchú is portrayed, I have a zoomed image, there she is. She's portrayed on the head towers on a gable, and there's above the adjacent rooftop. And she's radiantly backlit with moonbeams, as you can see. And they illuminate this flower emblazoned Guatemalan blouse that she's wearing. And there is also an ornate Aztec speech glyph denoting special speech. So there are curls, snake-like from her forehead. So this is this particular wreath that she's wearing, and she has hanging earrings, which are very very delicate because they depict an image of very completely. I cannot zoom this more, but if you pay maybe closer attention, you can see that there are three nude women dancing, and their hands are up in the air, and they're completely liberated. Menchú, she's still a great political activist, and she's also part of this organization Peace Jam that has a mission to use Nobel Peace laureates as mentors and models for young people, and to provide a way for them to share their knowledge and passions. So she's really politically active member of the society, part of the Jacques Chirac committee as well, and she continues her activism by raising awareness of issues of tolerance, including political, economic equality, female empowerment, and climate change. From Menchú's right hand, there's an image of muscular, this is a actually interesting goddess. Her name is Yemaya, and she's rising from the waters of her cowrie shells. And she's mother goddess in Santeria, which is this Afro-Caribbean religion, and it has roots in this Yoruba religion. She was brought over to the New World by enslaved Africans in the 16th century, and she's basically an Orisha, which means a major water life force from the Yoruba. Also patron spirit of the rivers, so that we can somehow connect this to this previous imagery of water. and Gaston Bachelard, which is, this theory of women soaking and female bodies soaking in fluids, not just amniotic fluids, but tears and menstruational blood and so on and so forth. From her left hand, breaking from captivity, raising tall between the agave plants. There's another powerful image. This is the goddess Koyul Halshi, or bells her cheeks, because she wears this ritual attire of bells both in her hair and on her cheeks. And she is also an Aztec goddess of moon. And according to the mythology, Aztec mythology, she was butchered by her brother, the god of war. She is very important because according to Aztec mythology, female deities such as her were the first Aztec enemies to die in war. And she came to represent all conquered enemies in the mural. The following row is actually also their side of the facade. There are two also profiles of indigenous peoples, but the lower row, there's a variety of women sending powerful message to the world. One of them is American artist Georgia O'Keeffe. Probably you can recognize her. She's standing, she's symbolically represented with flowers in her hands, which very much resemble those from her works. And especially because she did a lot of internal vivisection of different flowers, plants, and flora. And because she included even stamens and reproductive areas, sending powerful message of sexual liberation and reproductive liberation as well. Also, there's another image. This is from Chinese Buddhism. She's goddess Kuan Yin. And she is also a pinnacle of mercy and compassion and kindness and love. So the position is very interesting, in which she's painted in the mural, is the position of liberation also, because she's seated in this posture of royal ease, as it is stated. Meaning that, so she's on this simulated projection of perforated rock and somehow sitting maybe on the ground. So half rock, half ground. And her leg is folded behind her body, conveying the impression that she might at any moment rise from this state of deep contemplation, and step down from the carved resting position as required to help the ones in need. So she's there to jump over and to help. Jocelyn Elders, a renowned American pediatrician, public health administrator. She served as U.S. Surgeon General, sorry. She's part of this healing panel, as it is called. And also there's this Latina healer, Maria Sabina, a Mexican curandera or healer, and she's known for working with native, with native plants and herbs. So, and also there's this braided woman, so she's giving her the healing touch. And all these women are signifying the world's healers. The group also features Lolita Lebron, the famous Puerto Rican revolutionary who spent so many years in prison for fighting for independence for her country. And she's presented, as you can see, in vivid green. So her hands are raised in this triumphant, liberating ease. And she's very important because she fought, even though she knew that it was in vain, for decolonization of Puerto Rico, which sadly to this day, as you know, is still a colony of the United States. So it's another important, very important striking image here, the symbolic message of the shadow spirit of poet Audre Lorde. You can see her divided. So her spirit is reaching high to inscribe the words future generations, which is, self-explanatory, because as a writer and womanist and radical feminist and professor, also civil rights activist, she herself self-described as Black, lesbian, mother, warrior, poet, dedicating both her life and her creative talent to confronting and addressing all these issues of injustice and racism and sexism and homophobia. And also the frontal image of Audre Lorde, she's presented holding hands with Lilian Ngoyi. She is actually South African anti-apartheid activist, and she's one of these South African women who fought for eradication of this economic and social barriers, political barriers, impeding female empowerment, and also sent a very strong messages for tolerance. The interesting thing is the mask, which is placed in the center of the map of the continent of Africa, and is also covered in colorful kilt. Representing also, so there is this message through which this artistic craft work of talented women from different African nations. Just a couple of more minutes and I'm wrapping up. The spirit of egalitarianism is laid the foundation in other social movements arising from many sectors, and in here we have equalities on another level, because we are talking about, in the light of the sexual and homosexual liberation, promotion of equal rights. There is another dimension to the mural, which is a female muralist. They added a lesbian couple on the walls of San Francisco Women's Center building. Oh, and as you can see, there is an open affection here between the two women, and representing the millions of lesbian gay people worldwide and their movement for equal rights. Just a couple of words about these two images. So we have on the bottom left is Olga Stronaudo, which is the American sculptor, and she's dancing vigorously with one of the descendants of Yi people from Southwest China, and she's in wheelchair, which is a very strong. And also the T-shirt has a powerful message, and again, I cannot zoom it, but it says, "Earn your attitude, act up." So the T-shirt that the woman in the wheelchair is wearing, very clear statement that the disability must not and should not be an obstacle. And also the painter woman from India, she's breastfeeding a baby girl, representing only not only that the craft is being passed from one woman to another over thousands of years, but also the ability of women to multitask, which is, you know, they can be creative and they can be the artists and they can be caring mothers at the same time. And somehow there are many other additional details, you know, symbolically presenting this female features of tolerance and fighting against stereotypes. But I'm going to conclude here and say that this is very important mural, not because it pays tribute to so many different women, but because of the messages of female empowerment and tolerance that it conveys, at the same time advocating for independence, self-determination, gender equality, social justice. The message also is undivided and clear. It is powerful visual message of the importance and, above all, the necessity of female liberation. Empowerment, of course, and mutual tolerance, social injustice in a world that is predominantly male-centered and unjust and phallogocentric and still misogynist in some ways, prejudicial against women in particular. So in this respect, I would say and conclude that the visualization of the politics of tolerance is expressed in the Maestra Peace mural very vividly, presenting an ultimate ideal of multicultural, multi-ethnic, diverse female world, built, or more precisely painted, on the principles of inclusion, healing, acceptance, and open-mindedness, which is an ideal too good to be true. So thank you very much for your attention, for being patient. Hvala vam na pažnji. And I'm open to questions. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Srceva Pavlovska, for your presentation. And now we have little time for questions and answers. Is anyone has a question? Okay, Radmila.
Yes, thank you very much. Good day from University of Belgrade, Faculty of Organizational Sciences. I'm just in the class room students love to work and learn, because there are so many paintings and photographies that they love. And they told me that these paintings and photographies inspired them for work and for learn. And thank you very much to Professor Tanja for beautiful presentation, and a very deep presentation that lead us to so many thoughts about history, philosophy, and social movement and approach. I would love to ask Professor Tanja what she think about murals, Banksy murals. Is it important for future history and social movement? And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words. Very briefly, yes, I think they're very important, and the messages that he conveys are also very political. He talks not only about importance of art, but also sends clear political messages of tolerance and liberation, and above all, sending artistic message that the world can be improved through art. That fine arts is one of the ways to improve world. That art is not advertisement. That art should be understood through a strong message that it sends the world. So, like, read the art sings, the art sends a message. So yeah, I think it's very important and very powerful messages that he sends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We don't have much time, so I also have some comment, but I think we can leave these questions at the end to complete this part. So now we will proceed on second presentation. A theoretical and practical aspect of the role of art experiences in promoting country cultures, that will be presented by Professor Radmila Janičić, Ph.D. from the University of Belgrade, Faculty of Organizational Sciences, Serbia. Before I invite Professor Janičić to present this part, I will read his biography. She is a professor of marketing and public relations at the University of Belgrade, Faculty of Organizational Science. She is a visiting professor at the University of Mediterranean, Montenegro Business School. The main topics she teaches are marketing, strategic marketing, marketing in arts and culture, and media communication. She is the author of numerous books and scientific papers for international conferences and professional journals. She is a member of editorial board of the International Journal for Literature and Arts. She is a member of the International Management Teachers Academy at the Bled Business School and Manchester Business School. She is a member of the American Marketing Association. She is a member of an international organization, the House of Beautiful Business. She has organized seminars in the field of marketing in arts and culture. She is a member of the Serbian Marketing Association. Professor Radmila Janičić is a member of the Athens Institute of Education and Research at INER. So, Professor Janičić, can you please start your presentation? Thank you.
Thank you, Marco, very much for beautiful words and for a beautiful welcome. Okay, my paper is about theoretical and practical aspect of the role of art experiences in promoting country cultures. I always say to my students that marketing is science, philosophy, and art, because we must know so much about science, marketing science, but also about philosophy and art, that we could implement marketing strategies in many fields, like corporative sector, but also in artistical sector. Knowledge is the instrument of human rationality, which will lead us to a better tomorrow. Yeah, I think that education is also very important factor for cultural diplomacy, and this conference is also very important for connection people in the way to realize and recognize differences in cultural experiences, and in connection to our knowledge about cultural diplomacy. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This is some kind of media like radio, television, and also social media that we could share experience in the field of arts and culture. This is example of one very important influencer in Sweden, Jonna Jinton. She 3 million of people that share and follow her journey in one village in Sweden. And in her video, she talks about paintings, about nature, about history of Sweden, about of simplicity of life. And this is only video on YouTube that I follow because it is so artistical, so peaceful, so cosmopolitan. And I think that that is parts of cultural diplomacy. TEDx interaction and event is also, for my opinion, cultural diplomacy in the way that we share our opinion about culture, arts, and many times about some personal experience that is important to empower, as Tanya said, women and other people that are in some way different from other people. This is beautiful also professor in retirement, Professor Gabor Mate. He's from Hungary. He was as a child in Auschwitz, but he came to America, to Canada, and became professor of medicine science and also psychology. And I follow his lecture on YouTube. It is about philosophy, about psychology, about approaching to life, to art, about obsession with art and education. It is so beautiful man. For example, it is very interesting that for me, he present Hungary, he present science, he present education, he present Canada, and also he present beautiful approach to life and to art. This is some corporation approach, marketing approach, but it is important and interesting that Apple use people like history person Martin Luther King, Dr. Jr., Maria Callas, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein to improve and to present and promote their products. It is obvious the goal is profit, it is marketing, but it is very interesting that corporations very often use artistic and history people to promote their products in order to say that they are very social responsible and very historical and cultural awareness. It is interesting. Experience marketing is a field of marketing, and the point of experience marketing is that people experience some deep in cultural and arts events. For example, experience some deep emotion in some paintings like exhibition Loving Vincent van Gogh, beautiful, going to theater and see some beautiful theater, like for me, great drama, beautiful theater events in Belgrade that really is a part of my history, and it was a very deep experience for me. So the point of experience marketing is that people really get some deep experience that lead them to experience more about arts, about education, about culture. It is obvious that literature and books is powerful message about life. I adore literature. And also I will present you the model of experience marketing that we could realize and for example, analyze more in some other part or on some other events. This is model of holistic marketing approach, internal marketing, integrated relation and performance marketing. Also, I'm open for other realization and analyzation of this model and the model of relationship marketing. I think that this model of relationship marketing is very important in cultural diplomacy, because a relation is point of sharing the cultural and arts experience. Okay, now I will go to beloved art. I love art. Art open hearts, message about society is obvious sent by art. And this is beautiful sentences by Konstantinos Rigos. He's director of ballet company at Greek National Opera and artistic director at Oktana Dance Theater. And he said in one TEDx events that culture and arts open questions, promoting thoughts, ideas, and values that might otherwise go unnoticed. Beautiful sentences. And it is for me very, very true that art and culture open thoughts, ideas, and especially values that might otherwise go unnoticed. For me, mural about women in wheelchairs was very deep and maybe unnoticed, because she is in that mural very happy and she dance. She feel beautiful of dancing. This is theater. This is careful marketing in art. For example, they ask you, tell us when you are coming, we will send you what's on. It is very good. We loved music. It is very important that Albert Camus said that we could listen music to the point of pain. It is very true, to the point of happiness and to the point of pain. Now the movie Philadelphia, where Bruce Springsteen got Oscar for music and song The Streets of Philadelphia. And we all know about story and discrimination in this movie. For me, this movie is beautiful, great, and very deep. And also song is very beautiful and deep. And something interesting is that Bruce Springsteen never sing on playback, never. Even in video for music and a song Streets of Philadelphia, he sang in reality on microphone. It is very, for me, very honor for one artist. This is example Jean-Michel Jarre for new event in Notre Dame Cathedral. It is also send message about French history, French culture approach, French art approach. This is Lenny Kravitz with his inspiration, John Lennon. Julian Lennon is son, and the message is peace now. Very nice, very strong nowadays. And it is that song, It's Enough. It's Enough. In that song on YouTube, we could find this claim, it is enough, but warning that people with some kind of chronic disease have to be careful in watching this video, because it is truth about historical and political and war situation nowadays. This is Banksy. This is group Massive Attack that I was in Belgrade concert, and it was a so deep experience for me. And this is experience marketing, because I would go everywhere in the world to see one more times Massive Attack. Very strong experience. This is Japan violinist Taro Hakase. This is Greek singer Adonis Ramos. And I put this picture from video for a song about moments in life, because I think that these young people, that we are a professor for them, I think also that we send them our culture and they send us their culture, and it is beautiful synergy with young people and our professor, and we get so many knowledge from our students. This is experience from one events Knox Center, and we could see there, live with the experience, see, listen, taste, feel, and scent. It is very interesting for me, scent experience, but it is true. Live, hold the experience, okay? And I will find some beautiful words in music. For example, there are moments that the truth seems like a lie. Very often I think about these sentences, and very often I think about sentences from literature. There is some experiential tools. Experiential tools are elements that we could improve experience in our audience. It is very important to improve experience in our audience. And now we will enjoy in some experience, for example, Sting, England. We think about England when sing, and also think about Every Breath You Take. We think about Englishmen in New York, and so many songs by Sting. We think about Bee Gees and beautiful concert by Bee Gees. This is also a duet with American Bruce Springsteen and England singer Sting. What is brotherhood? Beautiful brotherhood for me. It is so artistical and so deep, and they all enjoy, musicians, guitarists, violinists, bass, guitar, claviature. It is a beautiful experience. Also experience Luciano Pavarotti with Bryan Adams. For me, it is very interesting concert because Luciano is so happy. See how he is happy when Bryan Adams gets the highest note on the song O Sole Mio. This is experience about movie. For me, I could see Tiffany film every night, and every night I could find a different message for this movie. This is beautiful also film movie, good as it could be. Beautiful life ahead with Sophia Loren about adoption and about tough of life. And this is organization, the House of Beautiful Business, that promote value about art, and they try to make business more beautiful and to get the world more beautiful. And this is something touchable. I will finish with this. This was installation, and this is white papers that present losing life in pandemia corona in last years. So touchable installation with white papers that present losing hope, dreams, losing lives in pandemia. This is photographer Lisa Christine with a strong message about slave situation in African countries. Papa Francisco, bless her work. This is Lisa Christine, and it is also very important that they bless and support her work. This is again England Tate Museum. This is my lovely Banksy with the girl with the red balloon, girl in a play. This is the answer for pandemia for Banksy. This is the answer Banksy about immigration. This is Loving Vincent that had really blessing to visit this beautiful exhibition in Athens. And also I had blessing to visit Leonardo da Vinci exhibition also in Athens with Mona Lisa. And I was very surprised. I didn't know that Leonardo da Vinci had so beautiful sentences like in time and with water, everything changed. Water is the driving force in nature. It is so interesting and very important. And as I said, literature is deep and very strong, sending message by art. And for me, the president of cultural diplomacy, nowadays I read Rachel Cusk and I'm really amazed with her work. She is England writer. He's Italian writer Lorenzo Marona. This is also my beautiful Kafka with the Stranger and Transformation, hippie Paolo Coelho. This is our students in conversation, but we could see that there is so many Erasmus projects, and it is also important for cultural diplomacy and some other sentences that we all know, but I will just say this one: be the change you would you want to see in the world. And also sentence of Aristotle that educated mind without educating soul is not full education. This is Montenegro, Budva, theater city, and I would love to say that I love Budva, and that is place where I come every summer to think, to swim, and to think about life, to think about my scientific paper, to think about every problems that I have in life. In my paper, I did in-depth interview, but all managers and professors of philosophy, sociology, and marketing at focus group said that experience marketing is very important for improving experience in audience. And conclusion, synergy of all these art and experiential tools create experiences as the key point of promoting country cultures. This is literature that I base my paper, and thank you so much that I share my thoughts about arts and promoting country cultures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Janičić, for your presentation and really a lot of examples. So I don't want to skip this part, but please save your questions for the end of presentations. I will have to proceed with Milena's presentation. Milena, you won't be longer than 15 minutes.
Well, I hope not. I'll
Okay.
try to squeeze it in 15 minutes.
Okay, so I will announce the presentation, ReFLAME Your English for Visual Arts, textbook presentation that will be presented by Milena Dragutinović, Italian. I will read the biography of Milena. She is an Italian language teacher and senior lecturer at the University of Mediterranean Podgorica, Montenegro, engaged in lectures and seminars for undergraduate and graduate or specialist study programs and other forms of pedagogic activities. She is a teacher to the age, character, and needs of the participants, with a special emphasis on development of communicative competencies of the participants, along with the equal development of other language competencies, reading, writing, grammar. She is involved in professional development and participation in national and international expert meetings, seminars, and conferences concentrated mainly on issues of second language acquisition. She was involved in the realization of several international projects, and the latest one named ReFLAME, Reforming Foreign Languages in Academia in Montenegro, and she is co-authoring a textbook in progress named English for Visual Arts. Milena, I invite you please to have your presentation now. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. So first of all, allow me to start off by expressing my gratitude for this opportunity to take part in this very interesting session and to speak on behalf of the ReFLAME project team from the Faculty of Foreign Languages, who created something huge and important as this textbook. So let me just explain quickly these acronyms you will see in the presentation. So first one, of course, is stands for English for Visual Arts. The second one, ReFLAME, the name of our project, stands for Reforming Foreign Languages in Academia in Montenegro. So the main goal of the project was to strengthen the capacities of 3 Montenegrin universities to offer modern, market-oriented foreign language education for non-philology students in response to a growing demand for foreign languages and language skills in most work positions. So we're basically talking about foreign languages, but in particular about English language or English for specific purposes. So this term refers to teaching or studying English for a particular career, like law, medicine, or for business in general. In our case, it's visual arts. So the book is a product of teamwork, designed for helping students improve their knowledge of the professional English by encouraging them to explore different areas of visual arts. So the structure of the book is based on the curriculum of the Faculty of Visual Arts, University Mediterranean in Podgorica, which itself is symbiosis of art, science, information technology, and other scientific and arts disciplines, and is in line with the latest international trends and the needs of the modern labor market. So English for Visual Arts is a useful tool which enables students to develop the strategies and the techniques for practicing integrated language skills like reading, listening, speaking, and writing through a variety of relevant and up-to-date authentic and semi-authentic materials. So the idea of creating this book was because of the limitation of existing textbooks in this field. So they are or outdated or not in line with modern trends. So usually teachers struggle to find quality materials that can put in their lessons. Of course, before developing any ESP book, in ESP textbook, there has to be done a very thorough needs analysis. So it mainly includes surveys among students or interviews with professors and experts. In our case, we did that. We did that needs analysis, and we gathered information, suggestions, and advice from them. Now I will guide you quickly through the structure of the book. So here you can see the example of a table of contents. So our book basically has 8 modules, and every module corresponds to one visual arts discipline. So you can see that every module has its theme color, and at the end of the book we have 2 appendices, glossary of course, and sources of all the material we used in the book. Let's talk about the art disciplines we covered within the modules, and those are fine arts, photography, illustration, graphic design, animation, video, new media, and sound design. As you can see, it's very specific. You cannot find something like this on the market. A similar textbook basically doesn't exist. So each module has 4 lessons, and each module finishes with the language 4, which I will explain later, and revision part. Some exercises that wrap up the module. So here you can see an example of a lesson. So how a lesson starts, basically. So at the top you can see learning outcomes. Here in the center, of course, a short introduction to the lesson, and on the right we can see vocabulary, which can serve as a important point of reference for the students. Moving on, so I can say when talking about ESP, English for specific purposes, that readings and vocabulary is probably the most important, more important part of the learning. So we try to integrate, to promote practicing of integrated language skills. So every hour lesson includes listening, reading, vocabulary, speaking, writing, this section language for mini projects, but not necessarily in the same order, so that the lessons don't seem repetitive. So our goal was to focus on the importance of the professional related texts. All of them are open source texts under the Creative Commons license, which is a specific license that allows you to modify, adapt, reuse the texts in question. So as for vocabulary, it is developed systematically, starting with the general terminology of arts and progressing to the very specific terminology of the key disciplines of different arts. Yes, another important part is this learning vocabulary in context. So through these texts, of course, we encourage students to activate their linguistic knowledge, but also their background knowledge in order to figure out maybe a word or a phrase they might not know. Here you can see an example of a reading of a text and some key elements of that. So in bold orange, you can see the technical vocabulary. On the other hand, these highlighted words refer to general English. Sometimes there might be a word or a phrase that students don't understand, and that's okay. So from general English, of course, and that's okay. We are talking here about B1, B2 level. So we try to predict all of those words they might not know, and of course we try to combine all the text with the appropriate images. Moving on, so the second most important section and part of every ESP book is listening. So in our case, it's mainly listening and watching. So we have plenty of authentic audio and video materials. Sometimes they are directly connected to the text, sometimes they elaborate the topic, and every listening activity has a pre-listening and a follow-up activities. So here you can see the example of a listening activity. So we have two pre-listening activities. Then every listening has a link that, in this case, it's a YouTube video. After that, after listening and maybe elaborating the information they gathered in the listening, students answer these questions and maybe develop a discussion. Here I would like to show you how this integrated skills work. So this is basically a grammar unit, but you can see that it starts with the video, with the listening, and the topic is job interview. So students basically through the simulation of a job interview try to figure out, to work out a grammar rule maybe, and also maybe learn some useful tips, phrases, sentences that are used in a job interview, maybe how to behave during the job interview, etc. So this is the third most important section, and its name is Language 4. So it is designed to help students improve the skills they will need in their future academic and professional lives. So what are those skills? So it's writing an email, writing a cover letter, writing a CV, how to make an effective presentation, how to write an artist statement, how to negotiate with the client, how to create a portfolio website, and how to behave and maybe what to say in a job interview. So here you can see an example of such a language for section. In this case, we have detailed instructions on how to create a portfolio website for artists. So very, very useful for them. And so this is basically it. So I would like to maybe show you some of the examples from the book, because I told you already that we struggled finding quality materials because we had this guideline from the project that all the materials have to be with copyright permissions or open source free for use. So I would like to thank our colleagues from the Faculty of Visual Arts, professors and professionals from the faculty, which gave us a tremendous help in selecting the materials, but with the professional texts and articles. But not only, they gave us contacts, they gave us their own artwork. So here you can see some of their artwork, not there, but from the people, from Montenegrin artists. They advised us to maybe include in the book. First, you can see a warm-up activity, some posters, students discuss, maybe say what they like and not like about these. Some of these posters are, and the author of this post, some of these is our graphic designer Adela Zenilović. So we are basically we wanted to try to promote Montenegrin culture, Montenegrin artists in this case, in this book, because the book soon will be available for purchase. So it will be available worldwide after the conclusion of the project, and everyone could learn from it. So you see the second example. So here you can see some posters designed by Aleksandar Ratsoprić, which is our renowned artist, and you can see post-war posters, some book covers, and diplomas he designed. Moving on, so this is basically the final some of the final slides. Here you can see two different texts. The first one is we created with Professor Nikola Latković's help, and these are criteria that need to be met in order to participate in a public competition. So very important for designers. In this case, it's about the selection of the brand logo design for the national airline of Montenegro. So some useful tips how that work is done. The other one is basically an interview with our illustrator Davor Golubović, and you can see some of his pieces, some of his illustrations. And finally, we tried to illustrate, to put as much as possible artwork of Montenegrin artists. So here you can see a type specimen by Nikola Đurek, maybe, and it's an activity where students widen and work on vocabulary. And finally, a text, a short biography of our first and only Oscar winner, Dušan Vukotić. So this is basically it. I hope I didn't take much time.
No, it's perfect. So, Milena, thank you for your presentation, and also thank you for wonderful cooperation concerning this project with, thank you in front of the Faculty of Visual Arts, and also thank you for helping our students to be more prepared for the international market also with this wonderful book. So now we have exactly 10 minutes for this question and answer session. So the good thing is that all presentations are very connected with this visual aspect. So I want to invite you to have some questions, to give some questions if you have now. Okay, I have some comment. Sorry, Tanya. Okay, Tanya, please.
I apologize if I interrupted you. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity of that you granted me in participating in this conference. I really enjoyed all the sessions, all the participants, they were amazing. I have a general question that may or may not touch Radmila's presentation. I was wondering, since we were all discussing art sending powerful message, political, social, and so on and so forth, I was wondering, what do you think when it comes to this latest climate activist, this series of attacks which started in Vienna with the paintings of Klimt, and then it continued in Prado in Madrid. So they are attacking the works of art, sending a political message in this way. How do you feel about that? Is this justifiable way that art wants to communicate message, or that someone wants to communicate message through art?
Tanya, you think does art could send message in a political way? It is
in a way, and vice versa.
Yes, yes. I will say you my private opinion. I think that art could send a message, obviously, about social movement, about political situation. There was example about Lenny Kravitz song, It's Enough. There is so many murals about war, about situation in the world. And I think that it is true. Art could send a message about political situation, and very often we see on movie that art gave a strong for people in art in war situation. So the art is inspiration and give strong soul for people in the war situation, but how to solve political and war situation, my absolutely private thought is that key point is communication and education. I don't know, maybe because I honored work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and I was in so many conferences about his philosophy, and there is opinion that education is the key point for non-violence communication. That is my opinion also.
Okay, thank you, Radmila. I wanted to ask something about after the Tanya presentation. So just one comment how we can use new technology and to also connect with the presentation of Professor Janičić. So how we can use the new technologies to improve that art experience and promote the culture. So because I'm investigating the relation between sound and architecture, and I saw that mural that is like in the whole building. So my idea about that was that that we can use the 3D video mapping, for example, to have that visual presentation not just on one building in San Francisco, but to promote it on several buildings or on many places in the world, and use also the sound, because we have a whole story behind those murals and those parts of buildings. So it would be interesting to use some new technologies and to move that visual aspect in another cities, in another countries, and to see that story, to feel and see that story, not just at one place. So that was my just one comment.
Amazing idea. I would never have thought about it, but yes, this is very, very good, because you know, it can be brought closer to all of us. So it's not exclusively to those who can go and see the mural, but you know, it can be basically shared. Like we're sharing screen now, it can be shared with very interesting. Thank you.
And it is interdisciplinary, so it includes visual, it includes audio,
everything,
includes the story,
technology,
animation.
Amazing idea. A way to go. I mean, I applaud the younger generations and their ideas when it involves technology. Way to go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the idea of these conferences is not just to have presentations, but to have some network and to share the ideas and okay. Is there any questions more? We have like 2 minutes. If we don't have any questions, we can finish this part of.
Okay, I would love to ask.
Yes. Sorry, Radmila.
Thank you, Marco. Okay. I would love to ask Milena. Beautiful presentation, Milena, about language, beautiful English language that we all love. I just wanted to ask you, do you realize words in songs in English or in Montenegrin songs? Is it important for you? It is just, I'm wondering.
Yeah, I use songs in my classes, so they are quite important for me. So this is a way how to learn vocabulary, to learn language, having fun. So it is very important, and I always advise and tell students to listen. I teach Italian language, and as you all know, Italian language is so melodic, so beautiful. It's like a song itself. So when you listen to a Italian song, it's even a more beautiful experience. So definitely we do include those songs, and maybe try to make of the text a whole lesson, part of the lesson, or an activity, or listening, or vocabulary activity. So it depends, but yes.
Thank you very much, Milena. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Milena. Thank you all. Thank you, Professor Tatjana. Thank you also, Professor Janičić, and Milena also. Thank you. So now it's time to finish this part of online session. And do we have a pause or something? No. Okay. I invite you to be here for another session.